Alright lads, the hard difficulty of GQ has finally reset. Now this week we have the ARRANCAR killer, more specifically for melee characters. Now this week right here was surprisingly tough. I actually thought I was going to go through this GQ very smoothly, very easily, but surprisingly I was able to beat it luckily, and you will see that run in a couple minutes, but it was tough. It did take a few resets. So before I do showcase the run, this video is going to be separated into two parts. Firstly, the first part is the run and also the team that I did use. And then the second part, because I wasn't able to record it yesterday because we were summoning, I'm going to talk about the best characters that you might want to use for this specific week, going over some of the strategies that you might want to go with. So firstly, let's showcase the team that we did use. So Rukia, Max Transcended, one of my go-to characters, one of the best characters for this specific week. And ever since its hard difficulty of GQ has came out, she's just shown that she's become very good thanks to this game mode. So why is she good? Well, obviously she has a Bankai button, which they don't showcase here, but she does have that button that does transform it into a Bankai, and it does give her extra damage, and also for the first 10 seconds in that form, she has an increased chance to inflict the status element, which she does inflict, which is freeze, and that allows your team to stop taking damage and allows herself to do a lot of damage, and overall it just makes her a very good character. And you can see here that she is also immune to freeze, so it does stop us from taking damage. This current GQ does actually have freeze pulse, so being immune to freeze just makes her, again, one of the better options for this week. In addition to that, going into the build that we do have, pretty much the best build that you can have for an SP-based character. We have the Masanga, we have the Artisanal T-set, and then we also have the Fortification Pill. And then as for the links, we have the Resurrected Ririka, the Resurrected Tag Team Byakuya, and then we also have the Frenzy Byakuya. Very good links, just giving us a bunch of different hybrid kind of stuff. We have strong attack damage increase and also strong attack recharge. So this allows us to use a lot of strong attacks and also do an extra bit of damage, which really does help in this current GQ. The next character to talk about is going to be one of the MVPs for this week, 1000 Year Blood War Soifon. Not only is she a character with long reach and flurry and a high attack if you do take her to level 10, which I do recommend. If you ever are doing this hard difficulty of GQ, you want to make sure your side lanes are NAD based and they do have a level 10 attack. If they have a level 10 focus stat, even better, it just means you're doing more damage, but a level 10 attack, in my opinion, is almost a standard. It's a must-have for GQ because the enemies do have a high defense stat. But the good thing about Soifon is that not only does she have flurry and poise, she also has a second strong attack that does have a vortex and a boost, very important in GQ. It also does transform it, increasing the amount of damage that she does dish out, so she's just a very good NAD based character, and that's why I'm very fortunate to have her on my team. So we gave her the Hollow Bait, we gave her the Chappie, and then we also give her the Masanga. If I had a golden Chappie, I would put that there instead of the Masanga, but this build does actually work. And then for the links, we gave her a Zangetsu link, and then we gave her two links right here, which are normal attack damage links and also freeze duration, because she herself isn't immune to freeze, and that allows me to be able to dish out damage with this Soifon and also makes it so she isn't going to get frozen, which is very important in this GQ. And then the third character, which is a character that's just been showing that he's been one of the better characters for hard difficulty of GQ, even when he's not supposed to be used. So Oetsu does have a Sora per killer, which means he isn't getting that 5 times bonus. But the good thing about this character is that he is a recharge character with a high bruiser, high attack, because I did give him level 10 attack. But the main thing about him is that he does have an SA2, which is a vortex and also a boost. Very important. So what we did is that we gave him 2 recharge links, or technically 3, 2 that make it so he's immune to freeze, and also 1 that does give him last ditch survival 100%. So if he does die, he's going to revive. But these links right here means he's going to basically be able to infinitely stack the vortex if the AI does decide to use it. And that vortex is basically going to be allowing me to not take damage whenever I can't freeze the enemy, which sometimes does happen. So if I can't freeze them, I'm then relying on the vortex. So with Oetsu, I should have an infinite boost, I should have an infinite vortex, and that basically should be the strategy that we are using in today's video, right? In addition to that, we gave him the wooden sword, we gave him the hollow bait, and then we did give him a normal Chappie. If I had a Masanga, would have put it there. If I had a golden Chappie, would have put it there. But this build does work. He's not really here to do damage. His damage does help. It's extra damage. But the main DPS characters in this team is the Soifon and also the main lead, which is the Rukia. That being said though, lads, let's jump straight into this run. Alright, so I'm going to talk quite fast because there is a lot happening and I have to try and explain this the best I can. So firstly, I use the Bankai button, inflict the freeze on Pesce, and then I use my SA2, which hopefully then does kill Pesce and also inflict on Dondo Chakam. And at that point, I'm saving my third strong attack to then hopefully inflict Mila Rose with the freeze. And there you go, that's how we basically did it. And at that point in time, I'm saving my SA1 to hopefully inflict the freeze on Nelia, which we did do. If I didn't, I would have used my Soul Bomb, but we did actually do that. And at that point, I'm just using all my strong attack as fast as possible, hopefully being able to inflict the freeze again. We actually didn't, but we were lucky enough that we had some kind of attacks that would stop the Nelia from attacking us. We then used our Soul Bomb, and at this point in time, we're just doing out all the damage. I transformed, increasing my damage, increasing the damage that I do. We used our SA3. And at this point in time, I'm hopefully just trying to inflict the freeze again, right? I don't believe we did. We actually were lucky enough that we had the vortexes going on, stopping one device from attacking us, allowing us just to do a lot of damage. And at this point in time, all my strong attacks came back. And again, we weren't inflicting the freeze. It was very unfortunate, but at the same time, with the vortexes going on, we were lucky enough just to do that extra bit of damage. And I was lucky enough that the one device wasn't able to get any attacks out. So with that, we were able to beat it. Only 2 seconds left, but it was enough, and it was what I was able to use for this current week. I'm basically going to be doing this hard difficulty of GQ every single day once, and then I'm going back to the normal difficulty. But we were able to get the 42 million soul. I'm just happy I was able to beat it again, right? I can't really complain about getting a low score on the hard difficulty of GQ. I'm doing my part for the guild, and that right there, basically, lads, was the run. So now it's time to talk about some of the best characters used for this specific week. This normally would have been its own video, but I didn't have time to record it yesterday. So, the melee ARRANCARs actually have a lot of good characters. I'd say this whole line, besides maybe Basby and maybe Toshiro, unless you have him max transcended, are actually very viable options for this week. Firstly, we've talked about Ruki already. Very, very good, being able to freeze, do extra damage to frozen enemies, being able to transform with a high berserker, and also increase the damage that she does do, and also increase the chance that she can inflict the freeze, makes it, in my opinion, the best character for this week. We already did showcase that. Then we have Kukaku. This character right here is a NAD-based character. As you know, the hard difficulty of GQ basically requires 2 NAD-based characters on the side. If you don't have Soifon, she's a very good option. I don't think she's as good as Soifon, but she is an option nonetheless. She doesn't have the highest bruiser, but it does make it a very viable option. Again, she herself isn't immune to freeze, so you're going to have to put some accessories and links onto her to make sure she is immune to that. The next character is Shuhei. Now, this character is also shown he's very good in GQ. His SA2, which is normally the weakest part about his kit, is now one of the best parts about his kit in the current GQ, because it is a short vortex. It's going to stop you from taking damage, and it does have an increased chance to inflict the weakening, which even though weakening has been nerfed a tad bit, it still does help for those 2 seconds that you do inflict it. His soul bomb is also one of the more powerful things about his character, since it does actually lower their stats. So it's going to lower their attack, focus, and defense, allowing your team to take more damage and also allow you to actually do more damage because their defense stat is lowered. Very good, especially if you do save that soul bomb for the final boss. Skipping over Basby because I don't think he's that good for this week unless you do have a max transcender, but Ichigo, 60% berserker, weakening everything on his soul bomb, charge strong attack free. If you have this character max transcended, he's definitely your go-to. Very, very good. I know a lot of people are using him, but do keep in mind he himself isn't immune to freeze, and he also doesn't have any kind of crowd control, so you're going to want to kind of have some support to help you not take damage, because he isn't going to be able to solo this. He is a good lead though if you do have him transcended. Nemu is also a very good character for this week if you do have a transcended 20% berserker. Being able to inflict paralysis on everything that she does do makes it a very good option. As you know, freeze and paralysis are pretty much the best status it wants to have in this current GQ. Stopping the enemies from attacking you for like 7 or so seconds is very, very good, and she's going to be a very good character if you do have her transcended. I definitely would have been using her if I didn't have this Rukia max transcended, because lucky for me, I do actually have Nemu 5-5. Swimsuit Halibel, also another NAD-based character that you can use as a support. No attack damage plus 25%, a 40% bruiser, flurry poise. Her second strong attack is a short vortex. Very good support if you do want to rock it as the side lane. Then we have Kenpachi, also a pretty good support. He does have a vortex on his SA2. He has a 40% bruiser. He has flurry and poise. You really can't go wrong with him. Again, like a lot of other characters, he isn't immune to freeze, so you get to put some kind of accessories and links to make sure he is immune to that. And the next character to talk about is Candice. This is the last character I'm talking about. So Candice is very good for this week, one of the better characters actually if you do have her transcended. Why? Because she has a 20% berserker, very good strong attacks, and she also does inflict weakened defense, on top of being able to inflict paralysis on everything that she does do. So if you save your soul bomb for the final enemies, that soul bomb should pretty much kill all the little mini mobs, and it's going to paralyze the final enemy and also weaken their defense, allowing your 2 side lane characters, which should be NAD-based characters, to do a lot of damage for those 10 seconds. And then if the boss does get unparalyzed, then you can potentially try and inflict the paralysis again on your strong attacks to then just give you that extra 10 seconds to do a lot of damage. She's definitely going to be a go-to for a lot of people. So that being said though, lads, that was this week's GQ. It's kind of tough. Again, like every other week, you can't just breeze through this if you don't have a good enough account, if you don't have 5 out of 5 characters, if you don't have any kind of investment into the transcendence for these NAD-based characters, you are going to struggle. But it is something to work forward to, right? If you can't beat it now, don't worry, don't stress about it, work towards it. In my opinion, I'm actually kind of looking forward to some of the weeks that I can't beat, because then it's something to work towards. If I ever need a character transcended, I'm going to start summoning for those characters if I need them duped out, if that kind of makes sense. Hopefully it does. That being said, hope you guys did enjoy the video. I do talk quite fast, so hopefully you could keep up. And I'll see you guys in the next one, which is actually going to be a Tsukishima showcase. So stay tuned for that today, lads. I'm actually kind of excited to actually do that. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.